New York's new reality effective tonight. Governor Cuomo says everyone must do the same thing. Cover your face to stop the spread. Good evening. I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Jessica Moore in tonight for Christine Johnson. That directive coming on the same day the governor spent sparring with President Trump over the federal government's response to this pandemic. And 26 days into the state's stay-at-home order, this view doesn't get any less eerie. On what would be a bustling Friday night, only a handful of people in the crossroads of the world. CBS 2's Jessica Layton begins our live coverage tonight with more on the new requirement and the hope for more testing. Jessica.
Jessica and Maurice, it doesn't have to be a mask like I'm wearing. Any face covering will do. We're talking a bandana, a scarf, anything that will cover those crucial points on your face, the mouth and the nose. Now, we know people are desperate to get back out in public, but New York State is still desperate to stop the spread of this deadly virus. Just as darkness began covering Manhattan on this Friday night, face coverings became mandatory for all New Yorkers in any situation where being 6 feet away from the next person isn't possible. Stopping the spread is still imperative.
Number of new cases that walked in the door, COVID cases, walked in the door of a hospital, is still about 2,000 per day. And that is still very high.
The mask order includes everyone on crowded sidewalks, in grocery stores, and on public transportation. In fact, the MTA received an order of more than 1 million masks and 50,000 pairs of gloves for its workers. In the midst of the pandemic, a dispute between President Trump and Governor Cuomo was intensifying in public after the governor said much-needed widespread testing can't be done without federal help. The president tweeted, quote, "Governor Cuomo should spend more time doing and less time complaining, and we built you thousands of hospital beds that you didn't need or use."
Let's keep emotion and politics out of this and personal ego if we can. Thank you again, Mr. President, for the Javits. Thank you for the coronavirus, for the U.S. Navy ship Comfort, which, by the way, is just doing your job as president.
The president addressed testing again in a press conference Friday night.
In the next few weeks, we'll be sending out 5.5 million testing swabs to the state. Swabs can be done easily by the governors themselves.
There were lines out the door of coronavirus testing sites in East New York, Brooklyn, and the Morrisania section of the Bronx. This targeting residents who are 65 and older with pre-existing conditions. Healthcare workers are also a priority for testing.
Focusing on the people whose lives are in greatest danger.
More walk-up sites will be added Monday. 6,000 more tests a week. People are still coming to check if they have COVID-19 6 weeks into the crisis and several weeks after social distancing began.
For this entire pandemic, that for most people, it's been very difficult to get a test. But for people who are rich or powerful and connected, they found a way.
And the mandatory face covering here in New York State does even apply to children over 2 years old. We're live in Weehawken, New Jersey tonight. Jessica Layton, CBS 2 News.